Welcome to Created by Design, and this is episode 10. And thank you for joining me today. I have just a number of things we're going to talk about, kind of catch you up to date as to what's been going on in my life. A couple of weeks ago, we were fortunate to spend 2 weeks down at the Oregon coast. And of course, when we leave home like that, I always have projects. So one of the projects you've seen I've posted is my little chicken here, and I felted her. Pull her back this way a little bit so you can see her in full view, maybe. I felted her, but not as much as I did my last one. And actually, I like a little bit tighter felting than what she is. So in the future, I probably will run her or the hens through the process twice of felting. And I've settled on a name for her. She's hen, Rietta. And some of you posted names for me. I'm going to use them on future chickens because I will be making more of these. They're actually kind of fun to make. One other project I worked on, finished up a little bit, was Louise, my little owl. And Louise was a lot of fun to make. And I'm trying to button his little buttons back here. He's got buttons on the back of his shirt up here, and he's got buttons on the back of his breeches, and his little tennis shoes, I thought, turned out pretty cute. So Louise and Tilly are going to be going to another home to live in, and be great nieces and nephews, and they're going to be put in the mail and shipped this next week. So I will be saying goodbye to Louise and Tilly. They've been a lot of fun to make, and I think they make a really cute couple. And from here on out, all of my little creatures that I'm adding to the stash that's here behind me, are going to be for my great-great-grandchildren. So this is the last two that will go and live at somebody else's house until we have one great-grandchild. Well, we have many great-grandchildren, but great-great-grandchildren. I have hopes of having some more here in Portland. So that's what I'm going to work on. But these are a lot of fun. But I have to work on something in between. Like when I do one, I don't want to turn around and start making another one right away. I kind of need a little break. I guess I like a lot of variety. And it keeps me happy and content to have several things to work on. So the other thing that I've put on my needles, let me get a hold of it over here, it doesn't look like much at this point in time, but this is going to be a pretty good sized wrap shawl for me. And I'm actually using it out of 2 strands of yarn. It will be blocked and you'll be able to see the design. Right now, it's pretty hard to see the lace design. But this is cobweb yarn. Oh, I don't know if you can even see it. I'll hold it up here. See, it's very fine. Well, I'm using 2 strands of this. I started knitting several scarves and shawls with a single strand. And this is wool, and we got it in Estonia. So it has a real good memory for me. So I am making myself something out of it. But after fighting a number of different patterns, nothing wrong with the patterns, but the cobweb, I decided at 77, I just didn't have the bandwidth to always have extremely good lighting to enjoy knitting with it. I have made 1 scarf already out of a single strand, and I think that's enough. So I'm doubling up the strand It just, of yarn, and it, oh my goodness, makes a big difference. It's still very fine, but I'm using two together, and sometimes I'm using two of the same color, and other times I'm mixing like these two shades. Part of this has been done in these two shades, and I don't really have a plan for how wide the striping is going to be. It will just be as I feel like changing colors. And I want the striping to be different widths. I don't want these to be actual all the same width. I like random. And so that's what's on my needle. I have no expectation as to when this is going to get done, but it's really, it's an easy knit. Every other row is purl and only 4 rows of a pattern. And what I've done, and I can't show you right now because my camera is being used, my phone is being used as a camera, but I have a little program on there that is called Row Counter. Free, you can download it. I think it's free. If I paid anything for it, it was like, it's an app. I maybe paid $2 at the most. And any pattern that you get off of Ravelry, you can download. Any pattern that you actually load into your phone, if you're creative, you can scan it. I've had to learn to do this. And you can load it over into Row Counter. And so it makes it very easy to keep track of your patterns. So I don't sit with a pattern book open and fight that. And I just have a little stand for my iPhone, and I can see the pattern very clearly. I can increase it, make it larger. And oh my goodness, it has just changed how easy it is to follow a pattern and have it sitting alongside of you, not trying to balance it on your lap or have it fall off. And so it's made following a pattern very easy. And the pattern actually is on a graph. And I think I'll insert that into this video and maybe a picture of the app. This is a great app for anything that you're doing that's following a pattern. If you're crochet, might even be a way to adapt it. I don't know, with some other sewing projects. I would think for cross stitch and needlepoint it would work. And it's made a lot of difference for me. So I'll post pictures of that. So that's my latest thing that I'm using my phone for, is following my pattern and doing my row counter. I mean, this software will keep track of how many stitches and how many minutes you're using, as far as how many minutes you've actually, or hours or days, knitted on a project. I probably don't want to know because I spend a lot of time doing it. I actually do other things besides knitting. I do have a little backyard, and I enjoy playing around in the backyard. It's very small, and but it's just enough. And we have a big Wilco watering trough that we put tomatoes in last year, and it worked so well. So we have, my garden consists of 3 tomato plants, and there's 1 basil plant in it. So that tells you what size of gardening I'm doing these days. But I do get outside and do things like that. But I do, when it gets too hot, come inside and spend a lot of time knitting. And that's one of the joys of my life.